You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Izio, Superpower Expert, founder of Soul Language, and this is Superpowers of the Soul. And I'm with Sandra Biskind, and we're talking about high frequency, the unlimited power. Welcome, Sandra. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm very honored to be on the show with you, Jennifer. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. And I always like to start the show with asking people, what do they think or what do they feel their superpower of their soul is?
Oh, that's a great question. I have definitely got a lot of superpowers of my soul because at the age of 3, Jesus started conversing with me and talking to me, and it was like all of a sudden I realized, and a lot of children, by the way, all children converse with divine beings. So one of my superpowers is that I didn't lose that ability to converse with divine beings and to be able to tap into what scientists call the 0-point field, or the field of all information. So I would have to say that the greatest gift is that my soul certainly can tap in for my own use and for the use and good of humanity. That's a big superpower, by the way, and it's one that I've had to come to grips with it. It hasn't been so easy for me. I think I've fought it for a lot of my life.
Yeah, and I don't think, children lose that power. I think it's kind of shoved down deep because they want to kind of gain entrance into a normal society. And so it never looks good if you're talking to divine beings during, first grade. The other, starter question I love to ask is, we talk a lot about sacred purpose. And I believe sacred purpose is first for yourself and then for others. It's what you're profoundly here to experience. And then through that, you can offer it to others. With that definition in mind, what do you consider your sacred purpose?
Without doubt, my sacred purpose is to live as a fully enlightened being, coming from a place of wholeness. And that's the reason why I've written this book with my husband, Daniel, because the whole book is about helping people and empowering people to have enlightenment experiences where suffering ends and happiness and success is the norm.
Nice. So what has been a common theme that your soul has shared with you throughout your life?
Love. It's just all been about love. It's like whenever I deviate from having a loving heart, whenever I go into judgment, whenever I go into fear, I'm absolutely brought back straight to that fact. Boy, I have just left love, and it doesn't feel good. So I would say that I'm always being brought back into that space, and I'm deliberately now and very consciously designing my life in a way and using a system that we've designed to constantly bring myself back into that heart space where I can love rather than judge, where I can love rather than be in fear.
Yeah, I think, I'm making a note for something. I think separation, on anyone causes great pain. I think that's what we're kind of all here to remind ourselves and others about that you're whole and complete, that you're one with the divine, however you want to put that, and keep bringing ourselves back. I think that choice of separation does cause suffering. And, we as humans design all these crazy ways to remind ourselves that we're whole and complete. And I don't know about you, but I don't like the freight train of reminding, and so I think that it's a great kind of purpose to keep reminding yourself and supporting others in that heart connection.
Oh, that is so perfect. You have just absolutely, in a nutshell, really talked about this password. We're all encoded with information when we come in, and we're encoded with the fact that we are perfect divine beings. And then we start listening to the coding of the ego mind, and that takes us out of our perfect divine nature. And of course, Codebreaker, the book that we've just launched, is all about that, and it's about giving people a system, and there's a password, and you've just come up with one of the major high-frequency codes in the password, and that is unity, because when we feel one with God, one with the divine, one with our own heart and with each other, suffering simply ends. I mean, any thoughts of suicide, they can't exist when you know that that is the truth. And, that whole unity is completely gone once we go into judgment. And the judgment is that we're not good enough, they're not good enough, and it separates us. So separation, I think humanity is suffering from this ultimate separation and this ultimate guilt that somehow we left God or God left us and there's no way to get home. And there's always a way to get back to love. And it's only ever a story that we were separated from the God of our own being and the God of our understanding. It can only ever be a story.
Yeah, a couple of things that you reminded me of. There was this has got to be in the 70s, the book's around somewhere here, this psychotherapist or psychologist regressed people to the moment of creation. And several people, different old walks of life, different beliefs, and they all had this image of this great ball of light being so big that little bits and pieces of it were flying off. And that big ball of light was concerned that those little bits and pieces would be alone, so he created a planet. And I think so often, when we are in not enough, because kind of guilt is not an emotion, it's a thought, and the emotion behind guilt is not enough. I think when we're in that not enough, that is a signal to tune in, to reunite with our connection. It's actually a signal from our soul that we want to experience more of that unity. And we're humans, so we need signs.
All the time. And you know what? That's why no wonder you love Codebreaker, because that's why in the system we're saying there's a road sign and it's up there. And when you start to feel fear, all it is, the fear itself is the sign that you need to do a U-turn and get back into love. When you're feeling judgment, it's like, oh, okay, that's my road sign. So the actual, what we're doing in our lives and our feelings, they are the signs. They're the signs saying, hang on, I've left peace, I've left love, I've left awareness, I've forgotten about mindfulness. Oh, I'm worried, I'm anxious. Okay, that's the road sign. It's saying do a U-turn back into trust. And that's what I love. I think that we need to see that all of these things that don't feel good and that do have us suffering can be seen as a road sign with a U-turn on them to get back to the place that we need to get back to. And if you've got that system available to you, it's really easy to do the U-turn.
Yeah, it's about practicing the U-turn. We're going to go more deep into this after the break, but before we go on break, let people know how to get in touch with you and to learn about your book and where they can get hold of more information about you.
Okay, so if you go to the Biskinds, TheBiskinds, thebiskinds.com, you'll learn all about us and the books. And if you want some free meditations that really add to this beautiful energetic system that will nourish your soul, go to codebreakerbook.com, because on codebreakerbook.com we've created 3 really beautiful meditations for you that really help. They're like a U-turn. They help change your frequency and get you back into the place that you want to be in.
Beautiful. Okay, everyone, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Superpowers of the Soul, and our topic today is high frequency, the unlimited power. So what do we, without judgment, because I think that in the spiritual realm, and I'm really learning on a very profound level that there's a big difference between spirituality and consciousness, and they're not always the same. But in this realm of New Age thinking, spirituality, and consciousness, there tends to be a lot of low frequency, high frequency conversation. And I think if we're coming from a place of mind oriented, that can be very judgmental. So I want to kind of get off the table, everyone, and go, we're not judging that one emotion's lower than the other. What we're really talking about is the power behind those frequency of emotions. So when we talk about high frequency, Sandra, can you give us an example of what you're talking about there?
Yeah, exactly. And I think what's important for everyone to understand is that the frequency is about the rate that your energy is vibrating at. So it's not good or bad, it's just what is happening. And that's really important, because scientists tell us that every single thing, like every cell, every thought, every word is energy, and all of that energy has a frequency. And the frequency is what we react to. And so, for instance, a high frequency being in a high frequency state is when you're in a state of love. Have you ever been around a couple who have just decided to get married, for instance, and wow, it's like you're basking under the sun being around them, because
very contagious. Yes,
they love everybody, right?
Yes.
Even if you haven't had a good relationship with them, they love you in that moment, because they're in the frequency of love, which is the highest frequency in the cosmos. And then if you're around somebody who's feeling angry, they're emitting a frequency that is a low frequency. In other words, the energy and frequency coming from that anger does not uplift and inspire life. It actually diminishes and ages life. So you can see the difference. We're not saying one's good or bad. There's no judgment. It's what that energy does to us and where it's coming from. And it's all coming from our thoughts and emotions. So your thoughts and emotions are creating an energy, which have a vibration, which get you into a frequency state. And I think that makes it easier when we just list it out like that.
Yeah, and I also think then it takes a lot of judgment out of the equation. And it also allows people to participate with their whole kind of focus in turning towards or activating higher vibrations, rather than stuffing or denying that, oh, I'm angry. No, I can't pay attention to that. It's not going to cause greatness. But to really kind of transmute it into something more powerful. So let's just say somebody wants to kind of up their vibration. What do you suggest that an easy step that they can do right here, right now is?
Well, really, one of the easiest ones is the 4 questions, which is they're in every chapter in the book. I started using them at a very young age because I had to. I was in a bad place and I was suffering. I was being challenged. And I wasn't showing up as the best version of me, and it was really affecting my staff, and it was affecting my family and the people around me. They didn't like it, because obviously I was coming into work and into their homes in a pretty low frequency state. And so I thought, okay, hang on, I need to change my frequency straight away. So a couple of things happened. First of all, I discovered meditation, and wow, obviously what you can do right now is close your eyes, take a deep breath, and just relax and allow yourself to stop for a moment and not to listen to the mind. And then I learned that if I asked myself these 4 questions, I changed my frequency instantly, and I changed my emotions. And when I showed up at work again, all of my staff wanted me there. In fact, I actually put down a huge amount of my financial success to using these 4 questions. So do you want me to give them to you so that your listeners...
Yes, give them to us quickly, because we're almost running out of time.
Okay, what am I feeling? What am I focused on? What do I want to feel? What focus will serve that? And when you focus on the last question, what focus will serve that, you get this answer that just changes everything, brings your emotions under control, you feel neutral and happy.
I love that. I love like the kind of baseline of my client to be in the baseline every day of that consciousness of neutrality, because that's where doors open and from there move up, but to keep the baseline of neutrality. So, that's like their kind of bad state in quotes of low vibration for them. So before I ask my last question, if there's one thing that you want the audience to take away from this conversation today, what would that be?
To really work on your inner game. So many people do the money courses, they do the success courses, they do the business courses, they do everything. But if you're not working on your inner game, if you're not inquiring into what your hidden unconscious programs, how they're sabotaging you, if you're not meditating, if you're not actually understanding what is driving you and your emotions and why you react the way you react, you won't have the happiness and success that you are working so hard to have. So in a nutshell, please get clear of the unconscious program so you can be neutral, because neutrality is another word for enlightenment. And believe me, being neutral is not easy when we're running this constant negative dialogue that keeps us in judgment.
Agreed. So my last question is this. If you were a magnet on whatever you call your higher powers refrigerator, what would that magnet say?
I trust that I am loved and supported, and that no matter what I have said or done, I still deserve love.
Beautiful. A very large magnet, but I love it. I want to thank you.
Two magnets there, I think.
I want to thank you so much for being with us today. Give out that website address so people can get in touch with you and learn more about those 4 questions.
So go to the Biskinds, TheBiskinds, thebiskinds.com. And if you want to get the book quickly and the audiobook and your 3 free meditations, go to Codebreakerbook.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest today. And if you liked what you heard, you can contact with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net. Thanks for listening, and don't forget not just to find your connection, but be your connection.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.